Now, from the news team that's covering the Carolinas, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News Sunday morning.
Channel 9 is following several breaking news stories this morning. First, 3 people shot after a party in East Charlotte when gunfire broke out and the search for the shooter. Also breaking this morning, police are investigating a homicide. The 911 calls they're reviewing after finding a man dead under a car. But first, it is going to be another scorcher with temperatures in the 90s again today. This is a live look at uptown Charlotte, how long this heat sticks around and when we could see rain. Good morning and happy Mother's Day. I'm Elsa Gillis.
And I'm meteorologist Vicki Graff.
It is going to be hot if you have any outdoor plans.
Maybe indoor plans would be nice for Mom today. It's already warming up quickly. Yesterday we made it to 92 degrees. We'll see that again today. In fact, it might be just a little bit warmer. We just updated to 67 degrees in Charlotte, 67 in Rockingham, 65 in Hickory, 61 in Shelby, and 57 in Boone. If you're heading out for a walk or a jog, I would get it done early. And if you're maybe heading out for a round of golf today, I'd get that first round in early as well. By midday, already 87 degrees. You're just going to be baking in the sun. It is going to feel really warm by 4 o'clock, near 93 degrees. Tracking relief from the heat on the way. I'll show you when that arrives coming up.
Turning back to our breaking news now. First, in East Charlotte, police say a party at a catering business ended with 3 people shot. It happened just before 2 at SMS Catering on Norland Road off Central Avenue. Police say a promoter rented out the building for a party. As people left this morning, shots were fired outside the building and in neighboring parking lots. A woman and 2 men were shot. One of those men is seriously hurt. Police have not said what led to the shooting. They have not made any arrests. Also breaking in East Charlotte, police are investigating a homicide. It happened around 10:20 last night on Elm Forest Drive near Idlewild Road. Police told Channel 9 one 911 caller said a person was hit by a car. Another said a man was under a car and shots were fired. CMPD found Nicholas Boger dead under a car when they got to the scene. They say there's evidence shots may have been fired. Right now, police have not made any arrests. This is the second homicide CMPD investigated Saturday in East Charlotte. The first happened on Perth Court yesterday afternoon. Investigators said the suspects walked up to a car with 3 men inside and started shooting at them. Overnight, police identified the driver shot and killed as Gavino Romero. Investigators said the suspects then ran into a nearby house, which led to SWAT officers being called in. Negotiators helped talk them out and no one else was hurt. Now, officials are trying to figure out who is responsible. They have taken several people into custody. Breaking in Richmond County, firefighters are investigating what started an overnight fire at Purdue Farms. It began around 2:30 this morning on South Long Street in Rockingham. A viewer called Channel 9 and told us he saw smoke pouring out of part of the building. The fire chief told us it was a small fire that produced a lot of smoke. No one was hurt. They're still investigating the cause of the fire. And breaking in Gastonia, police are investigating a shooting at a bar overnight. It happened around 2 a.m. at Remedies. That's on Union Road near East 12th Avenue. Police haven't said what led to the shooting or if anyone was hurt. Channel 9 is following each of these breaking news stories closely. As soon as we get any new information, we will let you know on air and online at WSOCTV.com. Turning now to a deadly knife attack in Paris. ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attack in the populated Opera district. 1 man is dead, 4 others are hurt this morning. Authorities haven't released the attacker's name, but say he was born in Chechnya and is 20 years old. His parents are now being questioned. Yesterday, police say he shouted Allah Akbar before stabbing 5 people. French President Emmanuel Macron is praising the officers for neutralizing the terrorist. Police are trying to figure out if anyone else helped the attacker. He was eventually shot and killed by police. Now, France has seen a rise in terror attacks over the last few years. That includes last year when a terrorist fired shots on the Champs-Élysées. And in 2015, ISIS gunmen opened fire inside a Paris concert venue, killing 130 people. Dozens of people said goodbye to this young mother killed in her Steel Creek apartment last week. Whitney Jo King worked at the Red Bull Bistro in Fort Mill. Last night, employees closed early so they could hold a candlelight vigil. There were purple flowers, balloons, and ribbons, her favorite color. But friends also say it's to draw awareness to domestic violence. Police say King's boyfriend, Michael Brown, killed her with their 6-month-old nearby. He eventually confessed to police.
I lost it. Just shocked, devastated. I just loved her. She was a wonderful, wonderful girl.
King's co-workers are raising money for her son. The manager says they are also working on organizing special fundraisers at the restaurant. It is 7:04. New this morning, hazmat and federal agents are investigating after police found a man dead at a Georgia hotel, then were exposed to a chemical odor. At least 3 DeKalb County officers are at the hospital this morning. They are expected to be okay. Last night, police were investigating a man's death when some of them became sick.
The officers were feeling a little bit dizzy, weren't feeling too much like themselves, so they quickly came out of the room. Based on the samples that we took, we are going to attempt to try to identify whatever that source was.
Police evacuated the hotel to make sure no one else got sick. It's not clear what led to the man's death or what that chemical is. Investigators are still on scene this morning. Today, hundreds of officers, including some from our area, will attend a candlelight vigil to honor fallen officers. CMPD and Shelby officers are in Washington, D.C. this morning. They biked 500 miles to the Capitol to take part in National Police Week. This is video of Shelby police arriving last night. Today, they'll honor one of their own, Officer Tim Brackeen. He was killed trying to serve a search warrant. The honors continue in Charlotte this week. Monday, CMPD officials will attend an appreciation luncheon at CMPD headquarters. There will also be CMPD award ceremony Wednesday. The week then ends with a memorial service and candlelight vigil on Friday. New this morning, a wanted man from Iredell County is in jail after he accidentally called 911 while in upstate New York. Deputies arrested Jesse Graham in Lyons, New York Friday, which is just outside of Rochester. The fugitive is wanted in Mooresville for several unspecified charges. He's now in jail waiting to be extradited to Iredell County. Happening tomorrow. This man will face a judge for the first time. He is accused of holding a woman hostage during a 5-hour standoff. Friday night, police responded to an apartment on Coronado Drive for a domestic violence call. The caller said a woman's husband was holding a knife to her throat. When police got there, they say Mark Drace threatened to kill the woman if officers entered the apartment. SWAT officers eventually arrested him. The woman suffered minor injuries. Now, Drace is facing several charges, including assault by pointing a gun and first-degree kidnapping. Channel 9 dug through his background and found he was arrested just last month for assault on a female. He was also arrested in 2015 for violating a domestic violence protective order. We're asking police if those past arrests involved the woman from Friday night's incident. New developments. The FBI is now involved in this incident outside a North Carolina Waffle House. Now, we've told you an officer appears to choke, then take down a man. ABC's Ariel Reshef breaks down the investigations underway and why the officer was called in the first place.
Get your hands off of me! The FBI joining the investigation into this incident at a North Carolina Waffle House. Cell phone video showing an officer holding 22-year-old Anthony Wall by the throat. Wall seen earlier in the night yelling at Waffle House staff, angry over the service. Police asking witnesses for video to connect these tense moments. Waffle House telling ABC News, "We believe there is more to these stories than the short videos that have been posted might suggest." Wall says it started when one of the employees refused to serve their party after they sat at a table that hadn't been cleaned.
He just stopped and asked us why the hell would we sit at a table that's dirty.
Wall now charged with disorderly conduct and resisting an officer, admitting he may have fueled the conflict.
I think I went overboard as far as like me going back and forth with them. It could have been avoided.
But saying the officer's response was disproportionate.
I got aggressive with him because you are choking me.
The mayor of Warsaw defending the officer's actions in this Facebook post.
This is not a racially motivated issue.
And that officer is on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. Waffle House tells us they train their employees to call police if they feel they or their customers are in danger. Ariel Reshef, ABC News, New York. Tomorrow, we could learn who will be the next owner of the Carolina Panthers. That is according to a Channel 9 source familiar with the process. Multiple reports name hedge fund billionaire David Tepper as the frontrunner. Tepper is currently a minority owner with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he would have to sell his stake with the team if he's chosen to buy the Panthers. Jerry Richardson announced plans to sell the Panthers last year amid allegations of workplace misconduct. A Sports Illustrated report said several employees were paid to keep quiet about sexual harassment. Now, Channel 9 is closely following the sale of the Carolina Panthers. As soon as the new owner is announced, we'll let you know right here on Channel 9 and on WSOCTV.com. It is 7:09. We have new developments on comments made about Senator John McCain. The White House press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, told staffers an aide's recent comment was inappropriate, but she followed that up by saying it shouldn't have leaked outside the White House. During a closed-door meeting last week, staffer Kelly Sadler said McCain's opposition to their CIA director nominee doesn't matter because he's dying anyway. McCain is currently battling brain cancer.
This was a private meeting. It was clearly the leak was designed to hurt that person.
I'm not going to comment on an internal staff meeting.
White House sources say Sanders called the comments unacceptable, but was more angered by the leak. Sadler did apologize to McCain's daughter, who questioned why Sadler still has a job. Firefighters say this fire that destroyed a Ballantine home was an accident. Yesterday, firefighters rushed to Tremont Ridge Court off Providence Road. Neighbors told us someone was home at the time but got out safely. The fire caused $415,000 in damage. It is 7:11. This is a live look through our Lake Norman cam. It looks a little hazy out there. Meteorologist Vicki Graff has an update on your forecast in Severe Weather Center 9.
And good Sunday morning. Happy Mother's Day. It is a little bit of a hazy start to the day. Here's a view from our Lake Norman camera here. We are going to see a lot of sunshine early on, and brace yourself for another really hot day. In fact, temperatures will climb to around 93 degrees. That would tie a record high of 93 set back in 1881. On top of that, we have a light wind today with the heat and not a lot of moving air. We have poor air quality. Limit your time outdoors if you're sensitive to that. And I'm tracking unsettled weather on the way. I'll show you how much rain and the biggest storm threats we could face. That's all coming up ahead.
A group of Good Samaritans rescued a man seconds before his truck burst in flames. At 7:45, the reason one of the men says he is thankful he was there at the right time. Keeping lawmakers safe. New at 7:30, the changes to the North Carolina Legislative Building after mass shootings and angry protests. But first, a daring police chase and shootout caught on camera. The reason this all began and the risky moves officers made to end it.
Like us on Facebook to follow the latest breaking news, top stories, and weather. To join in on the conversation, log on to WSOCTV.com and click on the Facebook icon at the top of the page.